In the small town of Bellbrook, the legend of the witch had been whispered among the townsfolk for centuries. A gloomy atmosphere lingered in the air, especially around Halloween when the leaves changed colors and the wind carried an eerie chill. The legend went that a witch named Agnes lived in the woods surrounding the old Bellbrook mansion. She was said to be powerful, with the ability to cast spells and speak to spirits. Many had gone into the woods searching for her, but none returned unchanged. At Bellbrook University, 4 friends decided to make a documentary about the legendary witch. They were excited and a bit nervous, intrigued by the tales of Agnes. The group consisted of Mike, the bold leader, Sarah, the cautious one, Jake, the comic relief, and Lily, the sensitive observer. They gathered in Mike's dorm room to brainstorm ideas. "Let's start by interviewing locals," Mike suggested. "They must have stories about Agnes. We can even go to the mansion and film there." "I don't know, guys," Sarah said, biting her lip. "What if we stir something up? Legends like that sometimes have a truth behind them." "Come on, Sarah," Jake laughed. "It's just a story. What's the worst that could happen?" "We could get lost in the woods," Lily added quietly. She had a soft spot for the supernatural and believed strongly in the tales. "Or worse, what if we actually meet her?" Despite Sarah's and Lily's unease, the thrill of adventure overwhelmed any hesitations. The next day, they set out for Bellbrook with their camera, notebooks, and plenty of snacks. Their first stop was at the town's general store, where they met Mrs. Hargrove, an elderly woman who had lived in Bellbrook all her life. With a twinkle in her eye, Mrs. Hargrove recounted stories of Agnes. She spoke of a dark figure seen wandering the woods at night, and how the townspeople had once burned her at the stake for witchcraft. They thought they were ending her power. "But stories say her spirit still roams these woods, looking for revenge," she said, her voice low and serious. Excited, the group thanked Mrs. Hargrove and headed toward the Bellbrook mansion. The mansion was decrepit, with vines crawling up its walls and shattered windows. The air felt heavier as they approached. They set up their camera outside the mansion to capture its spooky exterior before entering. Inside, the air was stale, and the wooden floor creaked beneath their feet. Shadows danced in the corners, making it hard to discern if they were real or just tricks of the light. As they explored, they found old furniture draped in sheets and layers of dust that had settled from years of neglect. Lily's eyes widened as she spotted a book on a table covered in grime. She picked it up carefully. "Guys, look at this," she exclaimed, flipping through the pages. It appeared to be a spell book, filled with strange symbols and illustrations. "What if it belonged to Agnes?" "Very cool," Jake said, teasing. "Maybe we should start casting spells to summon her." "Stop joking, Jake." Sarah frowned, her worry deepening. "This doesn't feel right." But Mike was enthralled. "This is perfect for our documentary. Let's film a bit here." They set up the camera, and while Mike talked energetically about the discoveries, Lily found herself drawn to the book once more. Suddenly, the air grew colder, sending shivers down their spines. A loud crash echoed from upstairs. They all exchanged startled glances. "Did you hear that?" Jake whispered, his smile fading. "Let's check it out," Mike said, determination in his voice. As they crept up the stairs, the floor creaked louder with each step. Their hearts raced, and shadows seemed to move just beyond their vision. At the top, they found a door slightly ajar, swaying as though someone had just exited. Jake pushed the door open, and they stepped into a dimly lit room. It was filled with broken furniture and strange markings on the walls. In the center stood a lonely, old mirror. The reflection seemed darker than the room around it. "Do you think it's enchanted?" Lily whispered, her curiosity battling her fear. "I think it might be haunted," Sarah responded, her voice shaky. Suddenly, they felt a breeze that seemed to whisper through the room. It carried a faint voice, echoing an ancient chant. The temperature dropped even further, and in that moment, they all sensed it, a presence. The thrill they had sought turned into palpable fear. "Let's get out of here," Sarah urged, her face pale. "No, wait," Mike insisted. "We need to capture this." As they fumbled with the camera, the mirror's surface began to ripple. What appeared to be human figures swirled inside, faces twisted in pain. Lily gasped, stepping back as the images grew clearer. They saw Agnes, looking directly at them with vacant eyes. In a panic, the group dropped the camera and bolted for the door. The mirror seemed to pulse, almost reaching out to them, as they ran down the stairs, screaming. Bursting through the front door, they stumbled into the sunlight, hearts pounding. Breathless in the safety of the open air, they looked back at the mansion. Nothing was stirred. Just the old house stood as silent as ever, but they knew something had changed. They fled back to the university, each one consumed by thoughts of Agnes and what they had witnessed. They had set out to reveal a legend, but now they understood. Some stories are meant to be left untold.